You're not going
And
to.
that's a big, big song, you know. If you were a Bobby Darin fan, that's the one that put him over the top. It's called Mac the Knife. Have you heard that
Of
song?
course, of course.
Oh, okay.
You're not going to make me sing, though, I hope.
No, you don't have to sing. My second hour guest is David Horobin. Did I say it right?
You absolutely said it right.
I
Yes.
absolutely said it right. I'm 2 out of 2 tonight. I'm doing pretty good. But sometimes I don't get them back. The last names are the hardest part of doing
Yeah.
this
I've
show.
had some very strange pronunciations of this word.
And David is the principal Arche Verde Design and Golden State ICF Solutions.
Correct.
All right. And how did Wendy find you to be a guest on Monterey on tonight, David?
Wendy and I met when the fire department in Monterey
Oh, that's
was
she told me.
putting on an evening teaching local residents how to make their houses fire resistant, get their insurance back, or get decent insurance, and do the things they need to their homes to give them peace of mind.
So Wendy attended this seminar, whatever it was called, because the Palos Verdes fires had just happened
Right.
a few months before. And so they got together here in Monterey to talk to the folks that live in the forests.
Right.
And they were concerned about, well, what happens if a fire breaks out here? And you were at that event.
I was at that event showing off one of our products.
And your
Yes.
product is the doors?
The roller shutters. Yeah.
The roller shutters.
fire-resistant
Do we
roller
have
shutters.
fire-resistant shutters in that picture gallery, Dylan, that we can show on air?
Yes, give me a second. I'll pull it up.
Okay. And you were there and representing, is it your company that
Yes,
builds the
it's
shutters?
a third company. Yeah,
A third, how many
that
companies
we
do you
just-
have?
Three.
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 All
yeah,
right.
we just started this new one. The market is just, there's so many people out there that need it. And the statistics are that there are about 8.5 million houses in California in areas that are prone to fire. And every one of those is subject to the whims of the insurance companies.
Ay, ay,
So
ay.
they can walk in and say, we're taking away your insurance, or we're running away from California, which several of them have done. And, it leaves people helpless.
What now, you've obviously been following this for a while. I mean, you were at the seminar. What does someone do today, David, that has a home and the insurance company says to the owner of that home, sorry, we're not going to insure you anymore? What do you do?
Well, we like to call it self-insurance.
Self-insurance.
Because there's two things. Number one, somebody can be insured, and the fire doesn't care whether they're insured or not, right?
Okay.
The fire will burn the house down anyway.
Right.
So they're left with nothing.
Except the dirt.
Except the dirt, the shirt on their back, and maybe their investments, right? So if we can go in and retrofit a lot of houses, and 75% of the houses that burn in these fires burn up because the heat gets ahead of the flames, cracks the windows, and then opens up the window to allow the fire in, and the houses burn from the inside. 75% of them go that way. So I came up with a way of preventing that from happening on a lot of these houses.
So what you're doing is you are putting these shutters,
Right there, yes.
sun and security. So you're
Yeah.
putting these shutters on the windows of the homes.
Yes.
And that keeps the fire from going inside?
Correct. Yep.
My
Yep.
goodness.
Yep.
And what's the name of this company that's doing this?
This is Sun and Security presently will become Inferno roll shutters as we move along. Because as a designer architect, I didn't know much about roller shutters myself, but I came up with the idea of doing this. So I did a prototype, made it work, got it tested, and then I found a company, excellent company in Arizona, that does nothing but roller shutters.
Roller shutters.
So we combined our expertise, and then we started this new
And
company.
so this is a new company now. So if
Yeah.
I'm a homeowner and I'm living in a forest area, I can buy these rolling shutters now and put them on the outside of my home where the windows are.
Almost, yeah.
Almost.
We will not. We won't sell to homeowners.
Oh.
Because this is all a matter of life or death now. So we will install them, and we have specific crews that are trained to install them, because the quality control has to be high, being a matter of life or death. So our crews will install them, and then and then maintain them, and test them every year, so that people are happy with with the quality control and the support we give them, and then hopefully nothing ever happens to the house as a result.
So this means that if you are living in an area that is prone to possible fires, and you get in touch with David's company, you could have these installed.
Yes.
At your home.
Absolutely.
Now, are we talking about these being very expensive?
No.
They're not.
No, not.
And is this a test that we're seeing on the screen right now?
That is that's seeing the roller shutters down without a house burning, but everything else burning around it.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Now, how about the roofs? Are you able to protect the roof?
Well, you can, absolutely. We don't do that ourselves, because there are plenty of roofing companies out there that have the types of materials, aluminum roofing, steel roofing, tile roofing, like you saw on that picture. So we don't have much to do with that. We'll specify it, and we'll recommend. But the most important thing, really, Gary, is that you have to take a look at these houses as being a complete building envelope, that because being fire resistant, because the chain is as strong as its weakest link, right?
Gotcha.
So if you've got a weak point in it, we design houses so they won't take in any water. Why don't we design houses to not take in any heat and flames?
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So you can have our shutters on a house that doesn't have anything else that's fire resistant. The fire comes along and you're left with some nice shutters, but you don't have a house. So we help people understand what they can do to their houses to retrofit them.
Were you in this business prior to the fires in Southern California?
Oh, absolutely.
You were?
Yeah. This happened to me because 1985, I lost a house up in the Santa Cruz Mountains.
You did?
To a fire. Yeah.
To a fire.
Yeah. We signed our contract on the Tuesday. On Sunday, we were standing in the ashes of our new house.
Oh, my goodness.
And I turned to my then fiance and said, I've got to do something about this. I can, because of what I do for a living. And so I
make some changes.
Make some changes, yeah. So we started designing houses that would be as fire resistant as you can get.
Wow.
And then when I built my own house in Napa, a few years later, 2009, the big thing that was missing, everything about it was fire resistant except the windows. And then it took me, another few years because I'm a bit slow sometimes.
Well, to figure out if we put something over the windows, then maybe we can keep the house from burning down.
That's right. And then when I'm working with Chubb Insurance right now, and when they saw what we're doing, they said, you've got the answer to the biggest problem that we have.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Wow. So how does someone find your company? What's the best way? Go to the website?
Go to the website. Yeah.
Dylan, can you put that up again, please? The website of David's company?
Yeah.
And
the Sun and Security one. Yeah, there you go.
The Sun and Security. Okay.
Great.
Is it
sunansecurity.com.
sunansecurity.com. And you're located where now?
Well, my partner who does the roller shutters is in Arizona. But my office is in my house here in Pebble Beach.
So you're here in Pebble.
Yeah.
Wow. And this is brand new. And you met Wendy at that particular event. That was just a few months back.
That was the first time we actually had the roller shutter on display publicly.
And you had it on display?
Yeah. Yeah, she actually saw it.
Well, that's why she was so impressed. She said, got to get this guy on the Monterey on Tonight show and tell people that there is a way to protect themselves. Because there's a lot of trees around here.
Well, that's the irony of living in Pebble Beach, isn't it? That we want to be surrounded by those trees.
Beautiful trees.
But it's costing a lot of people.
But, what happens when a fire comes? And having this to secure your home is a good way to prevent it from burning to the ground.
Absolutely, yes.
Amazing.
So when you mentioned about cost effectiveness,
yes.
I mean, one of the biggest things is the fact that to me it's like Mother Nature struck a deal with the insurance companies.
Yeah.
And so that in itself kind of creates a cost effectiveness, because if you can't get insurance or your insurance is incredibly high, then that helps pay for these things.
My goodness.
And if you can take
and
out
this just goes back to 2022. You conceived the idea of this company
Yes.
to produce and install
That's
fire-resistant roller shutters, founded Inferno Roll Shutters.
Yeah.
Since the Paradise fires and many others of note, you've participated with other designers and building material producers to offer this concept of total resilient building envelopes, and you continue to work as a designer and consultant to other architects in helping people avoid the terrible experience of losing their homes, possessions, and potentially their lives to wildfires.
Right.
I know that Wendy lives in an area where there are trees around her home,
Right.
and that's why she was so concerned, because she was down in the Palisades the day the fires hit.
Correct.
And
Yeah,
that's
that's right.
why she was
That's
just
right.
totally alarmed about what had happened. You're prepared for consulting other people now
Oh, absolutely.
on the rigors of redeveloping the two main areas of the Los Angeles fires of 2025, Altadena, Pacific Palisades. Your passion continues to help people establish their lives and acquire. There's page 2. Oh, well, whatever it was, it's not here.
There's too much on page
Too
2.
much
Bob.
on
Yeah,
page 3. Yeah, wherever it
Yeah,
went,
yeah.
we lost.
But I mean, that's basically the story, Gary.
It's a great story. What a great story to tell after those huge, horrible fires in the Palisades and Altadena.
I know it's interesting because when the Paradise fire happened,
Yes.
right, 85 lives gone,
Yes.
19,000 structures.
19,000.
Not that many people took notice.
Oh,
But then when you have Los Angeles go up in flames, Mel Gibson loses his house.
yes.
Paris Hilton loses her house. People pay attention,
Well, you're right. The publicity from the stars that
Yeah.
lost their homes.
which is kind of ironic from a humanity standpoint. But at the same time, at least it got the attention, and now the world knows about it.
Now, question the rebuilding
Yeah.
of homes in the Palisades now. Are they aware of what you're doing to help the new homes that get reconstructed?
Some people are. We've been working with, we specifically finding other architects down there who are interested in what we do and what we can provide, and then working with, with the AIA, the American Institute of Architects down there. And there are various other groups that have got together that feel, a sort of a community responsibility to bring things back. And so we've been down there several times to work with these entities to get the word out.
In your opinion now, will the people that rebuild in this area, Palisades, Altadena, are they going to be able to get insurance on their new homes?
Well, I hate. I mean, I don't want to sound. I don't want my head to sound too big. If they do it this way, then yes.
Putting these shutters on their windows
Well, shutters and other materials.
and other materials.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
and
making sure the roofs are
yes, absolutely.
fire resistant.
Making that whole building envelope fire resistant.
Okay.
Because the insurance company's risk goes down so
Yeah.
much
Yeah.
because of that. If you build it this way, their risk can go down maybe 75 to 90%. They won't give you that break in the insurance policy, but they'll give you a lower policy than you had before your house burnt down.
Okay.
So that's part of the
That's
economics
part-
of this.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here tonight. And boy, is this something that someone who's living in an area where there's trees all around your home, you definitely need to find David and find out what he's doing to help people get insurance, keep insurance on their homes.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you for being here tonight.
You're welcome, Gary.
Appreciate you
Thank you very much
telling
for
our
having me.
audience about this, because, and we were talking, if you were out in the green room earlier, we were talking about what we learned tonight that we didn't know when we started this show. And I didn't know that these shutters are available if you live in a home that's in the forest.
Yep.
Then this definitely is something you need to look into to protect your home and keep your fire insurance.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you, David.
Okay.
We're going to get back to more You know who this guy is tonight? We play this Bobby
I
Darin
know.
guy. Yeah.
I'm old enough to
Oh,
know
okay.
Bobby Darin.
Yeah. When I say Bobby Darin, the young people, they kind of look at me like, who? Because he was only 37 when he passed away.
Was that
All right,
right?
let's go with a little bit more Bobby Darin, Dylan.